It's possible you don't need a psychologist to tell you this, but emails are getting in the way of doing real work. Professor Sir Kerry Cooper says productivity in Britain is the second lowest in the G7 group of countries, in part because emails dominate us, he says. He says people think when they've checked their emails, they've done a day's work. They're not work, he says, they're getting in the way of real work. He suggests that servers should be shut down in the evenings and weekends to stop people accessing work emails in their own time. Group messaging, he says, that CC business, is a waste of time. As Andrew Bomford's been hearing, some companies are already taking his advice.
How much time do you think you spend dealing with emails?
About 2 or 3 hours a day. It's too much. It's too much.
Constantly. I mean, when I'm asleep, I probably don't look at them then. Otherwise, all the time.
Hello?
Hello, is that Nick?
It is, speaking.
Nick Atkin, Chief Executive of Halton Housing, a housing association in Runcorn and Widnes, thought about going cold turkey. He'd been looking into the numbers of emails his 230 staff were dealing with and came to a sudden realisation.
The average employee spends about 40% of their working week dealing with internal email, which adds no value to the business, which is a completely useless start until you actually think, well, that means that the average person doesn't actually start doing anything useful till Wednesday. You do realise then that you pretty much do have to do something pretty radical and very different.
He considered banning internal emails completely, but felt that was perhaps too radical. Instead, they made some rules, like don't hit reply all, don't email to say thanks, the default assumption is that you agree, so don't email to say so, and then there was name and shame the worst emailers. The naughty step, in effect.
You know, nobody wanted to be on that league table list, so we saw some quite dramatic reductions in individual as well as collective email traffic.
Were you ever on that list?
I was on that list, yes, I've got to confess, I was on that list. I, like many other people, are unknowingly, or have been unknowingly, addicted to email.
So far, they've reduced their email traffic by almost half.
Hi, it's Mark Mostoff here from Atos.
And it can work for big companies too. Atos employs 86,000 people worldwide, and 4 years ago the company realised their staff were wasting far too much time dealing with pointless emails. Instead, they use internal social media tools, a bit like a company version of Facebook. Mark Mostoff, Chief Information Officer, says so far they've reduced email by 70%, but it's not always been easy.
Well, I would say as any cultural change, it's difficult. You know, you need to really work on it, and you need to change people's hearts, really. Sometimes the best way of communicating is to get out of your chair and walk round the corner to another office and talk to the people directly.
Lee Mallon, from an IT consulting firm called Rarely Impossible, did ban internal emails completely about 6 months ago. He was working on a hunch, but saw an immediate improvement in productivity.
It was kind of we didn't know what we didn't know. Having doing it, we're seeing 20% straight away increase in productivity just from hours logged against tasks. But I think long term, I think we'll probably see even 50%.
Social media might to some extent replace email, especially for the younger generation, but it's not about to go the way of the fax.
Andrew Bomford reporting, and if you've got some insights into this story, please don't email us.